مرحبا، معكم جورج سرباي، واليوم بحلقة جديدة مع a very special guest ب AAB World Podcast. الجاست هو حدا صراحة لما عرفنا انه موجود بالكويت we jumped on the opportunity بكل قوتنا to try to grab just an hour من وقته لنعمل معه interview اللي بنعتقد كثير مهمة وكثير مفيدة وكثير valuable لأي حدا بدومين photography, videography والفيلميك. So أنت هون شو عمرك ترجع الكويت؟
لا جاي من قبل كذا مرة.
workshop ولا
لا for jobs.
For jobs. Nice.
It's the first time I do talk. It's super nice. You know, there's a lot of talents. There's a lot of opportunities. People should be exploring more the market.
I think so. I don't do you injustice. If you can tell people who you are, obviously there's a lot of people who know who you are. عارفين أنت شو بتشتغل. So if you can هيك تعطينا نبذة سريعة عنك what you do and who you are.
Okay. اسمي باتريك Sawaya. I'm a Lebanese American fashion and wedding photographer. I started my career in Lebanon and expanded regionally and internationally.
How many? قبل كم سنة تقريبا؟
بلشت عن عمر صغير. بلشت مع my dad. He was a wedding videographer. بلشت معه كان عمري 12 سنة. بلشت أسيستان معه. تعلمت التصوير الفوتو. By 16-17 كنت بلشت اخد projects لوحدي. By 18 فتحت my own line photography. Ever since.
شو هالجمب من wedding photography حتى videography to doing fashion. اوكي بفهم انه في كثير اشياء that correlate اشياء كثير متصلة ببعضها. بالنهاية on the day of the wedding العريس عم يتعامل العروس كأنها موديل. بس high-end photography coming من background wedding شوي غريبة. كيف عملت الجمب؟
أول ما طلع انستغرام كل الكونتنت اللي كان عندي كان كله weddings. كنت نزل weddings. back then ما كان الترند people ما كنت تحب تشوف صور أعراس on Instagram. وكان مبلش كمان مع السوشيال ميديا the trend of bloggers, influencers. وكان الستريت ستايل photography at its peak exactly. وespecially كان بعد ما كتير معروف بالريجن عنا وما كان عندك بقى ما كان back then يعني أول ما بلوا البلوجرز يطلعوا على to attend fashion weeks to go attend fashion shows بباريس and so on. إذا بدك بلشت من أول الناس اللي عملوا street style photography لهول البلوجرز all knowing أنا for me إنه بدي أوصل على I will have to be on these platforms و this is how I'm gonna reach new clients. بس I want people who are brand ambassadors أو to reach الaudience تبع هول العالم اللي هن bloggers و influencers تا eventually يرجعوا يكونوا wedding clients عندي. يعني برمة طويلة بس bit by bit I started liking this. I started liking fashion photography. I ventured ماني دارس أنا photography وما حدا معلمني. Relatively self-taught. experience helped a lot. I'm جاي من الفيلد أكتر مش جاي من background school.
Fashion driven. That's your biggest ingredient. When you ventured عم تقول بعمر 16 بلشت تاخد your own projects. صح؟
projects mostly بالسكول. أصحابي من المدرسة. families, relatives.
شو كانت perception؟ شو اللي biggest إذا بتحط of course عندك ألف obstacle especially عمرك
أول شيء كان الage. هلا good thing إنه I looked older بس not to a point when people can take you that seriously. برجع أول عرس صورته كان عمري 12 سنة. يعني اضطريت إنه at a part كان وقتها بلبنان حرب تموز وبالأعراس ما كان يصير يعني كانوا يوصلوا على الكنيسة وبعدين ما يكون في dinner. ثابت one of the clients ما he didn't brief my dad إنه عامل cocktail reception. خلص إنه the wedding was done we sent out the team to هيدا. برجع بدي أقول له sorry last minute وهيدا ما علي إنه شو ما كان صورنا. ثابت بيت وين عاملين الكوكتيل ريسبشن حد بيت ماي جراما بالصيفية. طلع أخذني قال لي رح تروح تصور عرس هاي الكاميرا صور شو ما يطلع وطلع it turned out to be good pictures. لأنه I still remember the vision بس it's blurred. إنه أنا فايت كل العالم اعلى مني وعتمه، بس انه خلص وصلوا العريس وقلت خلص I'll use the flash as an obstacle, people will not look at me.
الصورة كانوا يعني
relatively هلا جربت عليه، بس انه we still the clients sometimes they pass from time to time بيجوا لعنا لانه انت صورت لنا عرسنا كان من عمرك 12 سنه. it's a nice
wow. as a somebody حدا قرر من عمر صغير to venture لحاله. اوكي age is one obstacle، مثل ما كان عندك هالادفانتج انه ببين عمرك اكبر، بس شو المومنت بالكارير تبعك اللي حسيت حدا عم بياخد بات عليك على شغلك اكبر بكثير ما انت قادر تعطي and then you rose to the occasion؟ ما بعرف عرفت افسر لك اياها. يعني شو البروجكت اللي حسيت اوف I can't believe اعطوني هالبروجكت I have to work hard I have to deliver.
throughout my career ما كان في هيدا this one project that set you apart أو it was a lot of hard work continuous work non-stop. in my case ما كان عندي مثل designers celebrity X لبست dress من عنده خلص هي بوم. ما كان في for me ما كان عندي شيء بقول أنا كل يوم عم بتعلم قصص جديدة وكل يوم I'm gaining new clients وكل يوم عم بتعرف على ناس جداد وكل يوم في opportunity جديدة. so ما بعتبر إنه خلص وصلنا وقعدنا. داد من أنا وصغير بقول لي نهار بتفكر حالك وصلت هو نهار بلشت تفشل. so ما كان عندي ما كان عندي هيدا it's a lot of hard work a consistent work و
يعني مش انه في شيء عمل لك
no ما في شيء يعني بقول لك في moments ايه they stepped me aside في risks I took I ventured out to new markets new genres of photography هول اللي كانوا انه اوكي يلا step by step انه we're gaining new people. بس انه a lot of people betted انه لا you cannot do fashion and weddings. لا he's a wedding photographer شو بتكون فيه he can't do weddings or vice versa. so
أنا هاي ستيغما كبيرة بالمنطقة إنه wedding photographer is that's all you do.
hey it's understated و people don't know انه لا wedding photographer is a very hard worker و especially انه I went to a very prestigious school بلبنان وبعدين رحت على الAUB وبلشت بلشت أنا على أساس بداون الاركيتكتشر. بعدين كنت already مبلش my career ومبلش وعندي سفر وهيك so I couldn't keep up with both و I had to choose one of either my career or my studies و I eventually went with my career.
Yeah, that's بقول لك لأنه هون والمشكلة إنه most people complain of the outcome of their weddings. يعني بتلاقي الناس عم تقول لك سوى العرس مش واو. And at the same time لما تدلهم على wedding photographer بيطلعوا فيهم لأنه it's less. Whereas as you said خاصة بلبنان لأنه I don't know if people know this. بلبنان نعمل huge weddings. The wedding starts.
It's the biggest wedding industry.
At 9 a.m. and it finishes at 4 a.m. يعني عم تحكي تقريبا عندك like 19-20 hours where the photographer has to stand still and work with videographers أكيد. So I do get it لما تقول فيها stigma إنه people look at you إنه wedding photographer ما بيعرف يصور fashion بس you're literally a fashion photographer on hyperdrive. You're doing what a fashion photographer does but in a crunch time
a faster way with a lot of people
rather than
intentional إذا بدك. You're stealing moments not creating them. You can create بس إنه أيضا تتذكر أول كاميرا كانت معك؟
أول كاميرا بلشت صور عليها كانت كانون 30D.
30D واو. بتعرف إنه آخر كاميرا سامع فيها بعد كانت 40D.
بعد عندي إياها.
30D.
It has عندها
Of course it's the camera يعني I learned on. Digital. I never did analog. Probably when I was a kid. بس حتى أول كاميرا بتذكر طلبتها من أهلي كانت كانون هول الباور بيكسل. باور شوت.
اللي هن بوينت اند شوت.
إيه كتير صغار وبتفتح. إيه these were my very first بس first professional camera كانت 30D.
Wow. So how long you've been in this field?
12. I'm 28 now. Do the math. 14. Officially 12, I'd say.
I think the question most people have in mind هي كيف حدا successful wedding photographer gets approached by Elisa George Hbeya and gets handed the brand image to do an incredible video مثل اللي عملته. We're gonna link it in the description. Please, if you're gonna watch anything, stop watching this interview. روح دور الفيديو. It's sublime.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
It's very intentional. بكل pixel within the frame. How does the wedding photographer or / fashion photographer gets approached by such a big brand بيقولوا لك here's our brand, make a video for us? What is the process? What's the tip? What do you think was the biggest thing that اللي خلاها البراند تطلع عليك وتقول this guy will be valuable in terms of video, in terms of an ad, brand ad? What do you think it is?
It's definitely a lot of work. It was previous experiences that we started as small experiences. I ventured out into إذا بدك doing fashion weeks و going to Paris Fashion Week. كانت أول experience كانت مع رامي قاضي. He was my first client. صورت له بباريس ومن هونيك things a designer led to another, a brand led to another. حتى I started covering international shows لديار وسان لوران a lot. And these were my two big shows. فكمان it's a lot of step, it's a lot of trust. I think it's good work plus the right timing plus the right circumstances. It's knowing, exploring different markets, then going back to your own market, knowing how to apply them. So the work أول fashion show إذا بدك I produced كان لجورج حبيقة كان جولاي 2020 أول الكوفيد. So كانت إذا بدك نحكي عنا ويدنج بمجاف أخذنا كوفيد رجعنا التنين على لبنان Wednesday كان total lockdown. By June رجعنا June رجعنا weddings slowly وإجا الفاشن ويك ما حدا ولا براند محضرة لأنه كل world wide كان lockdown ما حدا. So we did a digital show صورناه وباك then ما كان في غير ديار وجورج حبيقة probably the very few brands كانوا عاملين digital shows. Exactly. حتى the workshops it was back then it was a small. أول شيء we had a lot of things. أول شيء كان في نحن الثورة قيمة بلبنان عنا models ما في we had to give this international standard experience بلبنان limited resources limited time. كان في تسكير طرقات
stringent laws at the time.
إيه ما فينا نسفر models based because of the location where we chose to do it. كان في political turmoil بالاريا اللي كنا نحن فيها. سو كان في تسكير طرقات وقصف. سو نحن ما قدرنا نعمل سيت اب حتى قبل بنهار او ريهرس قبل بالتايم. انا ما كان عندي the full on experience كمان. I had some experience بس not to a point when
You can pull this.
I've full. بس I had amazing partners not clients اللي هن جاد حبيقة وجورج حبيقة and we were able to pull something beautiful. Then the season after I got to work with Eli Saab. We did 3 fashion shows, couture, ready to wear and bridal ready to wear. Before that even in summer in August I worked with Eli Saab كان بعد Beirut explosion where we did director منى عقل عملت a beautiful video للكوتور لready to wear. I did the campaign shots in photography. Then I was able to produce a full-on fashion show for him. So definitely people will try you on small projects and I'm sure at the right time they will try you for a big project.
I think people that بيشوفوا شغلك fashion photographer what you're able to do شهادة بتاعتك on page that are superb and they bet on your hard work. I think
100%.
This is one of the best qualities that you possess because I've strolled through your profile. I'm looking at your work and I could see a clear progression. عم شوف شخص قدامي بين campaign وcampaign في فرق 180 degrees. So
I like to keep this progress for myself as a reminder for people knowing I like
You like growth.
exactly.
And I think
and hey, brands look at you and think he can pull it off. لأنه بيعرف إنك رح تحط the hours, you're going to put in the hours, you're going to put in the hard work, and you're going to get it done no matter what. And I think as a value, that's what clients are looking for.
100%.
يعني في حدا يكون يمكن أشطر منك بشيء بس because the client knows you will get the result لو شو ما صار, they will still prefer working with you.
no matter what على طول في حدا أشطر منك أسرع منك بيعطي final product أحسن يمكن the user experience أحسن بس the whole combination it plays a big role و the whole overall experience for me nowadays ما في حدا بقى منه شاطر we all have access to the latest gear we all can afford the latest gear if we cannot afford it we can definitely can afford to rent it we all have the tools for us to be everywhere and to make people know that we exist we can show our work for me the user experience the experience you give to your client والoverall هي for me أهم بعد بكتير من كل شيء من شو أي كاميرا عم بتصور آخر النهار الديزاينر ما رح يعرف بشو بأي كاميرات وأي لانسز وشو الست بهمه يشوف beautiful artwork إن شاء الله كان مصور بفون ولا بآري ولا whatever it is.
Yeah, today I think we all agree الجهل صار choice.
ايه انه you cannot not know شو في قصص جديدة what are the latest trends شو الستايل شو what are the fashion events that are happening in the world who are your peers in the industry ما فيك ما تكون عم تعرف مين في photographers بالريجن globally I have a very bad memory بس انه still انه at least انه I'm sure you came across their profile you've seen a picture at least
تعرف بأيام you're my generation بأيامنا when you had to look for inspiration ما كان في شيء اسمه جوجل كان في انترنت and you use it barely to do two things كنا we had to physically هيدا
we used to go magazines cutouts I remember I did design foundation year كنت بتذكر magazines وكان عندنا كولاجات
تطلب من ستك وخالتك يجمعوا لك المجلات تروح على صالون حلاقه تقول له بليز
عنده ارشيف
بوقت اليوم we're all lucky اساسا انه قادر تفتح تليفونك and with two buttons you have a million inspirations بايامنا it had to be very intentional مثل ما بقولوا كان لازم تروح عارف شو بدك وتسال اللايبراريان عندك كتاب فيه 1 2
100%
وانت وحظك اذا ذاكرته سيئه وقال لك لا you just lost a possible route for your inspiration
حتى your resources يعني حسب at least in Lebanon the only access whether to libraries is either your school or your university حسب حظك انت والمدرسه او الجامعه تبعك if they have good
backup books فهيدي هي اليوم which I agree with you اللي بيقول ما بعرف شو عرفني it's no longer على ايام هلا كان اوكي جاهل كان circumstantial هلا لا it's
a choice.
ultimate choice you make to be locked out من الهيدا لما تشتغل مع هيك براند على هيدا سكيل قد عندك freedom بالكرييتيف الاكزكيوشن I'm sure بيعطوك full freedom كاكزكيوشن part بس ككرييتيف ideation
definitely as a creative it's good to have a brief from the client and you always have a brief from a client sometimes this client trusts you enough to show you his most precious work which is his upcoming collection and it's from you to draw inspiration obviously each collection has a story has an inspiration has a mood board so I like to go through the creative process of the designer and for me to pull up something from his workflow just as I have a workflow he has a workflow so I love to respect really respect when they allow me into their private universe you can discover what's their intention and so on definitely for me I like the liberty but I even like it more when it's guided لأنه at the end of the day it's a job you need to deliver exactly plus each brand each designer they have their personal clientele they have each designer see from a different point of view حتى بالretouching مثلا pictures or the final outcome بالفيديو كل ديزاينر بيشوف flaws غير ديزاينر ما بيشوفها بهيدا so في قصص انا تعلمتهم عند X designer I like to apply them عند Y تعلمت من عنده شيء I apply them to X this is where you build your experience this is where انت as a creative as a photographer you advance you expand your knowledge For me, it's for a photographer. You're not only supposed to know only about photography. You need to know about fashion. You need to know about hair. You need to know about makeup. You need to know about the logistics. You need to know. يعني the more you're giving value to yourself, you're expanding. لأنه, for example, we go back to wedding photography, and I don't do just wedding photography. I'm the bride stylist, I'm her makeup artist, I'm her hairstylist, so I go into details. I need to know who are the people she's going to work with. If there are people who I know that cannot deliver the job, I will have to intervene, or I give her an option. You either have to change your makeup artist or your hairdresser or the hairdo, or you have to change me. It's either or. لأنه at the end of the day, it's your responsibility. You're giving the final product, and all of these factors will lay on you. Definitely there are some barriers you're restricted with. Obviously في the psychology, and you don't want to, she sees herself in a certain way. It's your job to give her the best user experience وتطلع أحلى شيء كيف هي حابة تشوف حالها. بس definitely في a lot of there's a road map إنه لا فينا الميك اب يكون هيك بهيدي الكولر باليت، لا الهير دو مش هيك ظابطة، لأنه بس تشوف شيء وعلى الصور شيء تاني. So definitely you can visualize، بس انه on pictures ياما في قصص ما بكون شايفهم حلوين من اللايف، لا ولا بالصور بيطلعوا حلوين. So مشان هيك as a photographer you cannot just be ولا I got a request, okay I need to know the bride, I need to know her style, who's the designer of the dress. Sometimes I go to the fitting with her، لأنه it's a collaborative process. و it's nice to know أنا عم بتعلم من الديزاينر كيف بيشوف ولا لا هون لازم الانجل بكره بريتاتشنج، هون لازم يتزبط، هون لازم يتملس. إنه obviously ما في شيء is perfect, we all seek perfection، و through this process بدنا نجرب نحسن قد ما فينا.
in the moment يوم العرس
ما في وقت. وال the bride كمان she wants to enjoy her wedding. At the end of the day she's not a model. She's been planning this for a year plus, probably dreaming of this her entire life. ايه انه فكل شيء بتحضره قبل خلص. So you give her the nice experience. You'll take 20-30 minutes, an hour if she's generous enough for you to do all the pictures, and then it's for her to enjoy and you capture the pictures along the way.
تعرف كان عندي هذه الفكرة دايما انه الارتست اللي بيشتغلوا على البرايد whether the makeup artist or the hairdresser, they're judged only on the day. But their work
It will all depend on you.
it will always be part of why you're judged over your work at the wedding. عرفت؟ So I get it.
لا العالم اخر شيء عم بتشوف صورة كنت انا عم نزلها ولا وات ايفر، ما رح يقولوا انه لانه الميك اب ارتست رح يظبط هيز فلوز والهير دريسر رح يظبط هيز فلوز والديزاينر رح يظبط هيز فلوز. بس at the end of the day هول كلهم part of your picture. If they're not up to the standard or they could have been better, I hate the option where they could have been better. انه خلص we do it better from the start. انه this is why انه في trials قبل and so on. So ايه انا بتطلع بقول انه لا sometimes الحق على الفوتوغرافر. He could have advised, he could have positioned her this way, could have shot this angle. In post he could have fixed the dress. هون مجعلك، هون متعوج. انه هول small details هول ما فيك تتعلمهم الا بس تشتغل مع الديكريتيف مع people in the industry بالفاشن او ميك اب ارتست او هير دريسرز، لانه من هون بتتعلم. انه انا ما بعرف مثلا اذا وجهها اوفال لا الغره هيك اضبط ولا لا. It's all trial and error. وبيست upon your trials and error you build your experience and you خلص بتصير انه it's standardized انه you have this face, this suits you. Or حتى I hate people who like to explore انه for me انه as for example with the bridal makeup انه go with wild colors. انه خلص these في two types of makeups بيزبطوا على البرايدل. Don't experiment. بدون يزبطوا. You have to look pretty, you have to look glowy. You're not here to experiment unless you're doing an editorial وما عندك عرس we're doing a bridal shoot. We can do whatever we want. It's not when you have لأنه you have a lot of guests coming in, you have a lineup of artists, you're bringing them in, weeks of construction للsetup تبع العرس. So these cannot be jeopardized by small mistakes or people who are not experienced enough يقعدوا يجربوا فيك on your wedding day.
شوي قلت client journey or the customer experience with you as a photographer, and I want to draw a parallel بالعمل. يلي هو بتعرف على الكاميرا دايما عندك you can pre-save profiles. So profile 1 إذا عم صور برا، profile 2 إذا عم صور جوا. do you feel انك تعمل هالشيء مع your clients؟ اذا عم اشتغل مع هالكلاينت I'm on profile 1 بعرف شو بحب بعرف شو ما بحب بعرف انه هذا الشيء he might say yes to الكاستمر الثاني the other designer لا profile 2 بحب هاي ما بحب هاي you feel that sometimes.
Yes انه هلا in my style of photography ما عندي هول اذا بدك البريسيتس في a lot of trends that came and went منهم the grainy و the vintage و the orange و the blue يعني اجت الترند people love them then I like everything that's classical modern but still you can look at it in 5-10 years still feel انه لا this has been shot yesterday or few days back. Definitely for weddings I have a color preset that I personally like or for social events بس كل شيء editorial especially for magazines editorials هون where you can be super creative هون profile.
عم بحكي mentally when you're approaching people do you feel you're on a certain profile and as a board
I don't like this.
you approach all the clients the same way
Same profile.
حتى لو عندك previous experience and you know إذا you pitched هالفكرة رح يقول لك لا you would still do it لأنك مقتنع إنها هي الصح.
And they're coming to me for my style of photography. So definitely they're coming for me people who like vintage I hate vintage. في hundreds of photographers I'd be more than happy I can recommend you a dozen. But this is not my thing أو قصص الدارك أو no I don't like this.
اللي بيوصل للناس إنك you're willing to say no indirectly.
Definitely. Okay. It took me a lot of time to reach a point when plus you will reach a point when خلاص people will come to you just for the sake of your work.
Because they know what you're good.
يعني أنا for the past 3-4 years I haven't done a single presentation for any client. I get a request I'm getting married on this date are you available on this date please send us your packages which is I find this beautiful but for me to get this I did hundreds and thousands of meetings I've sat with 100 brides I had to convince you plus people get influenced by trends by a lot of things بيرجع بقول انه there are trends that come and go I personally I'm not fan of this vintage thing where you look brown or orange and who likes you look so sorry you look dirty even makeup artists hate this designers hate this I personally I'm not a fan.
No everybody wants to do their بيطلعوا as you said بيطلعوا I don't know I think in a sense TikTok is good and bad لأنه one it opened up فتحت للناس كثير new avenues of creativity ما كان حدا.
It's beautiful. It's nice to see.
بس لما يجيك client and he wants to implement like 60 trends
You cannot.
You cannot.
And I understand إنه when you go classic the style you do you're future proofing your wedding لأنه it will be timeless. You're no longer bound by having to sit down and explain to people oh we did this لأنه بوقتها كان دارج Gangnam style.
بس I hate these trends لأنه especially at least for wedding photography we're doing these pictures they're not for now they're for your kids for your grandkids قديه أنا بحب شوف يا ريت عندي فيديو كل أهلي my dad is a wedding videographer probably I've seen their wedding video once it was shot by 100 videographer لأنه he was in the field إنه بس still إنه قديه منا في بنحب نشوف فيديوهات أهلنا our grandparents or their pictures إنه even now at least for example for their families they still go for the classical not it's because it's beautiful to look at in 5, 10, 50 years 100 years later it's still nice it's relative obviously the fashion changes the trends changes but at least there's 50% of it still relevant to nowadays.
You do wedding videography is like part of your services.
100% not myself I have a team.
Your team بعد الترندي لليوم إن الناس تعمل wedding video 4 hours long ولا you feel people are going the 15 minutes out like give me the crème de la crème or no?
I personally I still do the 6 hours video and I'll tell you why. بيرجع كمان في a lot of people on the market they're providing the 15-minute options they will not give you this. برجع بقول لك the video is not for now probably هلا ما رح يكون ابدا لك جليته تحضره هلا بس trust me in 5 years you would like to at least in the category of clients I have or at least the category of weddings that I usually shoot people have done so much work and they've put in so much effort حرام ما يكون عندهم the full thing. What's the point of hiring Amr Diab to sing at your wedding. You're only gonna see him for 3 seconds.
لا definitely I would
أو the
set up.
setup في عنا في wedding setups they took 2 months to execute. إنه we shoot throughout this process time lapses with the final decor. I personally, even further more than this, I usually when we're done with the final edit and so on, I give them a hard drive with all the rushes. I tell them keep them next in your safe box next to your jewelry and your watches. لأنه in 10-15 years you'd love to
Re-edit.
you would love to re-edit. Maybe your kids would do it. I don't
أنا
know.
أقوله مثلا I'm from because I'll share with you لما نخلص my family it was in the part of my family are in the wedding field and they still do it. They shoot full runs, the entire thing. بس at the end they hand the bride and the groom hard disk. هيدا كل شيء. This is your full day and here's 15 minutes. أنا بيناتنا كنت أنا وصغير رحت أحضر ناس تروح تهنيهم بعد ما يتزوجوا وهيك تروح تحضر. They sit you down for 5 hours video. It's too much. يعني على nobody wants to watch it. 15 minutes you want عندك الحشرية تحضر ليلة تشوف وين بيان.
But now we're depend obviously on the package and so on. But anyways, we're giving a small trailer, a short version, obviously the long version. But لا في you have people. I just got to know this. إنه لا في عالم خلص بس we're shooting 15 minutes. This is what you will get. You will not get the rest. بيرجع لحسب كل client شو بيحب و every bride and groom شو what's their في I have a style of clients that do not come with they do not seek my services. No, I don't offer this style, which I'm more than happy. At the end of the day, you cannot do everything and cover everything. No, خلاص, it's nice to know your niche, the people that are coming for your work. Just like a bride is going, she's hiring X designer. She loves his style. She wants to do a couture gown with I don't know who. Or she's going for this makeup artist. It's beautiful when the bride is coming for your work. And this is where I like, as an industry as a whole, there should be not rules and regulations, but it should be a standard at least just to elevate the industry. لأنه it's not something that's that commercial. It's so sad for me seeing prices going down the drain, people giving huge discounts for nothing. Haram. At the end of it is a job, but we're giving art, we're giving artwork, we're giving a lot. Our reward, no matter how financially big it is, the final reward that you've given a beautiful work. This is our ultimate reward. لو قد ما شرجت X amount, your ultimate reward is having the clients happy, them recommending you to other clients. At least يقولوا لك thank you so much for the beautiful work. I have images that I keep on dreaming of for the rest of my life. This is our ultimate reward. So I personally believe there should be a standard in the field as a whole, just to elevate a bit. لأنه it's هيك ما بعرف. I'm not.
We suffer for all of us from this. لأنه الناس sadly they don't understand. People who go out and give huge discounts. في jobs مرات تسلي people talking طلع بالسعر كلهم how like.
Plus ما you cannot you're no longer credible. You sent a package ولا you give a 50% discount ولا 70% discount. طب وهيدي البارير كلها شو كنت عم تعمل فيها؟
I tell people إذا بعطيك discount it's not either تفهم تسرق يعني ما بعرف ساعات both ways you shouldn't work with. ثلاثة فكر فيه دايما الناس يعني مثلا لما أنت تقول X amount بيجي حدا بقول اللي بياخدوا تدريك أنا نصه. They don't understand that it's a vicious circle. لأنه حترجع له لا حترجع له بعدين and they're gonna say but listen في حدا ثاني عطينا ايه but divided by 3 can you match it so it's a vicious cycle until I believe at some point عشان حنصير ندفع نشتغل.
غير هيك أنا for me the people who are doing this they are not professionals أو هو ما عم نبيع بطاطا آخر النهار this is my standards. بتحب تشتغل this is my work. I understand there are people who have on a budget. You'd be able to match them. You'll offer them a small discount. You'll take off some services less they don't need them. Okay, but at the end of the day, you cannot shatter your price in half or just خلص do the job. It's not only about you. This is probably a small strategy that will work year or two. you cannot sustain with all the inflation, with all the costs rising, with the equipment being much more expensive, with all the shipping costs. تمام. This will serve you a year or two, but overall you're ruining a whole industry. And I've seen the prices back then, and how much people are charging.
People just.
Back on my dad days, they used to charge a 6-digit number for a wedding to shoot.
I know about these things. بس عمل لك ناس very short sighted بيشوفوها اليوم بالديليون هيدا الاماونت.
You have to look on. It's not only short terms, short goals. You need to know a long term. Obviously, this is our industry is a cycle. You have your bad days, you have your good days, but at some point you're gonna exit the market. If it lasted, it wouldn't have reached you. So you need to know. ما كان هيدا. So مشان هيك إنه خلص. You need to know when is your time, where your time to shine, where you need to retrieve وخلص. لأنه at the end of the day, the day you're in, the next year out, there's a whole industry. People will have to come. You're ruining, you're sabotaging your industry for the people who are coming next. بعدين.
الناس ما عندها الشجاعة مثل ما قلت شيء كثير مهم. أنا applied that وعلى فكرة مش ذكاء مني. I think لأني عنيد شوي. It worked in my favor in that side. إنه كنت أقول لا ما بيهمني. You want the discount? Go work with somebody else. And I lost a lot. بس هلا, as you said, people come to you لأنه بيعرفوا he's gonna get paid a lot. But hey, we know what we're gonna get. It's top-notch quality, top shelf. So in the Alam, they're not willing to take the risk on themselves. And I hope people listen to what you're saying and see, mashallah, the amount of success you've accrued throughout the years. We are fun when you take a bet on yourself and you back it up, be hard work, وتشتغل على حالك and always seeking what you can do better, what you can do. This is the result. You're a living proof of that. ولما أحكي لكم دايما my circle كله بيفكرني اليوتوبيا إنه بحكي بعالم be another dimension where this applies. But no, there are people like you who prove this does exist.
It still exists.
What's the one quality about yourself that you don't want to change? Curiosity, hard work. What's the
interaction with the people? I enjoy people.
That's your forte?
Definitely, because at the end of the day, us as a photographers, we're not only photographers. Most of our work is psychology. How to make the bride make you feel comfortable, how to absorb. You need to absorb everyone. There are a lot of things. Exactly. So obviously your skills are very important, but the way you work with people and you manage people is, for me, it's an asset. Which, alhamdulillah, I have it. Some people, I was born probably with it. But I'm a people's person.
That's a lot. You can map out the job and navigate people. تعرف كل حدا where his emotional threshold is.
Especially كان بالweddings ولا بالfashion. Especially بالweddings, we work with royalties, we work with government people, politically exposed people. So there's a thin line how to navigate between such people. What's the approach? When it comes to fashion, big designers, creatives, even in fashion, you have the financial side and you have the creative side. You need to know how to navigate in between two to please both, because the creative has to design and the business side has to sell and generate money for this business to grow and be profitable and to take it to the next level. So I hope I won't change with people هيك ضلنا down to earth.
What's your projection for the next couple of years? What's a goal you have? What's a dream you haven't achieved yet? Or what's a dream you haven't تعطيها طريقة عندك؟ شو عندك في حلم عندك بعد you didn't ignite yet?
I have a lot in mind. Definitely having an exhibition one day is definitely on the list. It's a dream actually. A book of all the fashion shows that I've done, and hopefully I'll keep on doing.
It's coming back. Photography books.
People, I even learned it myself. Print is so beautiful. When you see your work in print, layouted in magazines, in books, in publications, even online, it's stunning.
Yeah, so that's an exhibition would be the biggest thing.
Definitely what's my biggest thing? I'm not someone who like to project far off. I like to live in the moment. I think we all learned this post-COVID. Losing one of my relatives كمان as well إنه you never know, you really never know what tomorrow holds. So enjoy the moment, let it be, وفرج ورحمة لبكرة.
What's the big
that you can mention? I don't want to break any NDAs you have. Okay. أتخطى any NDA قضية بس في شيء قدر تحكي عنه هلا something huge.
ما هو the thing is it's خلص صارت a cycle and you know you have fashion weeks that start in Jan تخلص بسبتمبر then from إنه معروفين شو season then wedding season. هلا in mind في few projects that are that there's a really nice fashion show that I'm really looking forward for in September. Hopefully if all goes well it's going to be at a beautiful location. It's going to be shot in Lebanon. It's going to be a digital show. Oh, this is all I can say.
As insane as the George Khaya, did you conceive
On
that,
a
by the
very
way?
different level.
Did you conceive the George Khaya video?
the last one you published?
Okay, so the creative comes from Jad. Jad, he's the co-creative director.
He's an artist.
Jad Hbaya. No, he's a fashion designer.
No, sorry. And I looked through the credits.
Mark Hbaya is okay, Mark, he did the set execution.
Apologies, Mark, if you're watching. Yeah, because I saw.
Mark is
Architect
excellent.
involved,
Eh.
I'm like, this is interesting.
So Mark, he was the creative comes from Jad. For at least for this one, Mark did the execution, the set construction, and so on. He overlooked everything. I overlooked at least how to make it more visual. Because at the end of the day,
tie together.
100%, 100%.
لأنه
What I'm about to say might be a bit linguistically complex, because I watched this video maybe 5 times yesterday, and this
Thank
is
you.
the one thought that kept going through my brain. How were you able to reconciliate the fashion part with the visual part?
It was very hard.
technical part.
فهمت شو قصدي يعني؟ Sometimes بتلاقي حدا مركز كثير على الفاشن where you see the visual aesthetic drops بس quality wise or production value wise it's high. Or sometimes it's fashion بس بتعمل ضيق عليه. It's always 2 out of 3 that بحس as directors people are not able to grasp everything and elevate all the experiences together. Technical مع visual aesthetic مع the product itself. Your video, the direction of that video, really gave each thing its own right. Everything was perfect. It's one of the very few perfect videos I've seen in my life.
Thank you.
And I'll tell you off air what's the second one that أنا اللي بطلع عليه this is top notch. Yours comes very close, not on the account of your work, on the account of how much was spent on the other one versus what I estimate was spent on this one. But it was very visually pleasing and clean. How do you reconciliate all these facts together?
It was very difficult. لأنه at the end of the day it was a forest. It has to be pitch black. But still we had the runway that we need to light. We need at the end of the day clients need to see the pieces. Another challenge, it's a digital show, so people don't have access to physically seeing them except on a presentation or later on in showrooms. So it was very challenging. It was very difficult. I'm someone who is more client oriented. I like to be in the client's position at the end of the day where I want to see eventually my dress. Jad is more on the creative side. It was a difficult job to link between these two. At the end of the day انه بدك الست يضلوا dark بس عندك runway بده يضل مضوى و you have a long runway models. We wanted them walking in through the forest. We know this all this was shot in a day and delivered in the next 4 days. لأنه we don't have much time. We shoot, we have to edit and go live with a couple of days لأنه the collection needs to go back to Paris. في presentation, في showroom, في press, في buyers جايين ونحن we have to deliver لأنه كمان we have also في deadline في schedule on the calendar على official calendar be Paris Fashion Week إنه خلص this is the time, this is the slot, you cannot, there are no delays. This is where we work literally 22 hours of editing, post and everything for us to be able to deliver directly.
Are you threatened by AI? Yes, AI might. Is it tool?
I read a meme now, at least when you get the creative, people have described properly what they want, so be able to generate the
Are you exploring that side of the business?
I explored in pre-production to be able to visualize what I want. It's beautiful, at least when you're doing
But like that, like visual reference.
visual reference, or you're doing your mood board, or you're doing your storyboard. لا لأنه ما بعتقد يعني phones could have easily replaced photographers. ما بعرف إنه I don't know. It's too vague. I didn't tap in big time on it. But it is a tool that's helping us. So at the end of the day, you decide how you're gonna navigate with the tool. But obviously, still they're very avatar-like. At least when you want a proper, minus some of the, I saw the Pope picture in Balenciaga vest. That was very realistic. But still, there are some things that come and go.
I think there is a possibility. This is, by the way, a conversation. He's an AI freak. He's an incredible director as well, creative director. He's incredible. Not banging on my wall. And I said, I think the clue is in the name. Generic. It's only able to generate the shortest distance between 2 points, between what you said and what I think the result is. The human flavor, the human element. It's like, مثل ما قلت كلمة كثير حلوة. Phones could have replaced photography. But again, it's the person behind the tool that makes it do. يعني I'm sure you've had people comment this on your Instagram. بتاخد صورة تكون incredible وتحكي لك sorry شو السيتنجز اللي على الكاميرا. People still don't understand. I can give Patrick Sawaya, Patrick as you like to pronounce your name.
Whatever you want.
I'm more Lebanese on the message. When you give Patrick a Nokia 6600 عرفت بتاع القديم and you tell him take a picture, he'll come up with a result that you won't be able to do if you're not experienced with the best camera on the market. So it's the person, and that's the value of the human input, which is how you manipulate the tool in your advantage.
I love with all the since you're mentioning, I love now with all the advancements of technology, at least in the photography world, it no longer matters whether you're shooting with an iPhone or whether you're shooting with Hasselblad. At the end of the day, where the end product is you're seeing it on your phone. I love the fact خلاص people, there are no standardized. Anyone can be a creative. Anyone can create. Anyone can shoot, which is beautiful. لأنه each people. I love people who come from a graphic design background into a photography, not people from a technical point of view, because they see things different, and I love that.
People making millions from their phone. That's what he edits on his phone. The tools are there, just people have to.
I have some projects and some clients who I work with, especially when we're doing social content. I get paid to shoot with the phone. لأنه at the end of the day we want this to go viral. The only way to go viral with Instagram algorithm, exactly. It has to be shot with a phone.
Again, people are paying you to shoot with the phone, not paying somebody to shoot with the phone. It's you. I think to them it doesn't matter. حتى لو جبت your whole crew, your whole team وصورت ولا you grab your phone, they don't care. They want your brain applied to this campaign, to this motif, to what they want to achieve. And again, that's the value of the human. It's for them.
That cannot be replaced with.
لأنه أنت مثلا I am sure a lot of your inspiration is driven by experiences you've had as a child.
100%.
Your father telling you you can do this. بيا كان مثلا يحطك in situations where you have to think on your feet. This is valuable. This is what guides you. حتى في your personal preference. يمكن أنت شخص بحب the classic movies, so you inspire a lot من movies. That's your creative input. It's your experiences packaged and called upon on demand that تطلع بشيء جديد للclient. And that's where really value lies.
100%.
You're working.
Thank you.
I know العالم راح يفكروا عمولة كتير بس please go watch the Josh Maya video. We're gonna link it in the description. Again, this blew my mind off yesterday.
Thank you.
Any thoughts you have about branching out into a new field with directing? يعني steering off of fashion, going into music videos, short films, epic short films.
No.
No?
Not a fan.
Not a fan.
I hate it's a beautiful word. But it's a very complex. So it requires a lot of people. ما بعرف. For now, no. Music videos, definitely not. I don't know. Maybe ما بعرف. But no. For now, no.
Maybe.
Amazing.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you for having
very
me.
much for this insightful, deep, very rich conversation we had with you.
Thank you so much.
بتمنى الناس يكونوا استفادوا من خبرتك
I hope you enjoyed it,
الكبيرة
guys.
العظيمة. And we wish you all the best of luck. شكرا انك
Thank
كنت
you.
دعوتنا على AAB World's podcast تكون ضيفنا اليوم.
Thank you so much for having me. You have a beautiful
ان
show.
شاء الله
over
نشوفك
here.
دائما هون. ان شاء الله
إن شاء الله.
نشوفك عم تعطي workshops
إن شاء الله.
لل AAB Academy. Best of luck.
Thank you so
We're always
much.
here to support you as AAB.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Bye guys, thanks for watching. Please ما تنسوا تعملوا like subscribe. Share this interview. It's very valuable. فيها كثير اشياء مهمة. I think بتهم كل حدا كل حدا هو aspiring photographer ولا videographer ولا filmmaker. في كثير اشياء حكي عنها Patrick that applies specifically to every single bit of creative work you do in this industry. كان معكم جورج سلواي من AAB Podcast. Thank you. نشوفكم بالحلقة اللي بعدها. باي باي.